Howdy guys, Bookie Laura here with my first wrap-up of 2016. I feel like I've had a cracking start to the year so far. I set my goal, my expectations quite low, and I've overachieved on them, so I'm delighted with that, and I hope it keeps going. I managed to read a grand total of 5 books in January, all of which I enjoyed. If the rest of my reading year continues like this, I'll be over the moon. So let's get cracking. The first book that I read this year and this month was Gemina by Amie Kaufman and Kristoff. This is the second book in the Illuminae files. I read Illuminae last year and I thought it was quite good, but I wasn't 100% enamoured with it. I think this is better than Illuminae. I quickly got back into the different style of writing, and I found that the storyline itself I was more interested in. I was more invested in the characters than I was when I read Illuminae. As you probably well know, this book's most sort of famous feature is its different style formatting. It has a lot of sort of IM conversations and emails and really different ways of presenting rather than a traditional novel format. At times I think that is a little bit distracting and unnecessary, but on the whole I found it much better. In Illuminae I found it much more annoying than I did in this book. For me, the only real negative was stupid teenage love, but I kind of get that if you're reading this kind of book, that's what you're going to have and that's what you've got to expect and deal with it. So I gave it 4 stars, really enjoyed it. After that, I was quite keen to get my first non-fiction book read this year, which I read on my Kindle, and that was Dead Mountain. It's basically looking at the true story of the Dyatlov Pass incident, which is a story of some hikers who went missing and then were found, and there were some unusual circumstances, and it was a kind of his investigation into what he believed had happened. What I really enjoyed is that I am always intrigued by that kind of unsolved mystery thing, so I always knew I was going to enjoy it and wasn't disappointed. As well as that, I was delighted to feel that it kind of reached a conclusion, although obviously it's his opinion and not 100% for sure. I was really pleased that it felt like it reached some kind of finish, some kind of conclusion, because obviously unsolved mysteries usually don't, and that can leave you hanging, so I was pleased about that. The only real negative for me was that there was a lot of political things included, which I didn't feel were 100% appropriate and necessary, but that might just be my naive non-political brain not really knowing. Gave it 4 stars and was really pleased that non-fiction is going so well for me so far this year. So far. Then I read The Art of Being Normal by Williamson, which is a story basically of teenagers feeling outsiders, and it also discusses transgender issues, which was something I was particularly interested in reading about. It was a good book, I enjoyed it, read it really quickly. I felt that the high school stuff felt quite real for me. It wasn't... Sometimes when you read YA, the high school stuff feels very romanticised, very nostalgic, and actually high school sucks for most people, and it did represent that really well. I also felt that the main characters were ordinary, real people, and that you were able to relate to them. I was kind of nervous that there was going to be some kind of transformation and they were going to end up being really popular and amazing, but I did feel that they were really believable, and that was a real strength of the book. Don't want to give away the ending, but it was a little disappointing for me because it was a bit cheesy, but I was equally pleased that although it was cheesy, it was realistic. It could have quite easily had a very different ending to put a positive spin on things, but it was a more realistic ending, which was fab. Overall, I really enjoyed it, and it did give me an insight into those transgender issues that I wanted to start understanding a bit better. After that, I went for the first book of the year reading a children's book, and that was Graven Hunger by Harriet Goodwin. This was quite a short read, an enjoyable one, but compared to the other books that I'd read this month, it definitely wasn't top of the list. I think I gave it 3 stars, but it might have sneaked a 4-star out of me. It was an okay story. I felt it was easy reading, obviously, as it's aimed at younger children. Thought it created suspense and intrigue quite well, but I don't think that the actual plot was that interesting for me. I'd be quite interested to read it to my class to see what they make of it, but for me it just wasn't my cup of tea. And the final book that I read this month was one I picked up at the library and was very excited about, and that was Pandemonium by Lauren Oliver. This is the second book that follows on from Delirium. Dystopian future, tick. Love is considered a disease, and teenagers are given a cure to cure them so they can't fall in love, and how that transforms them. I really enjoyed this, really enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it more than I enjoyed Delirium, which speaks volumes, because actually I find often second books in trilogies about dystopian futures I usually am not as intrigued by, whereas I preferred this. I enjoyed it so much that I'm planning to do a full and proper review for you, so look out for that in the future. But it was a clear 4 stars, loved it. So that was my wrap up for January. 5 books is a fantastic start to the year, and 5 good books too. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.